Hello, and what is going on, everybody? I am Master of the TDS, and I'm joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis, the segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. 3 topics from the past week, all summarized in one video for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome. Now let's get into it.
$3 billion alt accounts ended on April 14, 2022. The survivors of the mass exodus called the War GPT Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines. Starlink, the computer which controlled the machines, sent 2 Teslanators back through time. Their mission, to break the will of the humans on Twitter. By flooding it with spam bots.
Come with me if you want hot nudes in bio.
Bots, including those with blue check marks, are abusing the verification system to spread spam, posing a challenge for platforms in maintaining verification integrity and combating spam on Elon Musk's Twitter/X.
We already knew this, as everyone is going to say, but now everyone knows.
When we say that we already knew this, it's important to clarify. Now, I've been reporting on bots quite a lot lately. You guys have probably seen the videos or my posts on Twitter.
And he does such a good job.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
But the important thing is, we've always known there were bots on Twitter, but it's gotten worse since Elon Musk took over. And not only that, but we have plenty of bots out there now who have blue check marks. And the blue check mark was meant to give verification to actual people on Twitter.
So that it would be harder for bots to actually, be bots. However, there is perhaps some marketing firm or other company out there or whatever it is that is using their own money to pay for blue check marks so that their bot accounts can continue manipulating everything.
Yes, and it's important to recognize that I reported on this months ago when I covered it in my first video on the Disney bots, but first off, we don't know necessarily that those bots are 100% Disney. It seems like they might be. But an article recently came out which basically says that not only do these bots exist, and not only are they worse, which again, if you are on Twitter, you know they're pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. You've seen them, no doubt.
We're fighting a war here, guys.
Eh.
Against the machines.
Dun dun dun!
Finally, after fighting for weeks and weeks and weeks and almost months to get this story covered by any kind of outlet, finally they're kind of covering it. Congrats, it only took you like 2 to 3 months, longer than I reported on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to rub it in people's faces. I did make that one post where I kind of did. But the idea here is that I've been reporting on this for ages and everybody kept telling me I'm wrong, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or it's nothing new, and that's not true.
It feels good to be vindicated, doesn't it?
Yes, and they're paying for blue checkmarks to use the boosting feature to get more notice and more attention on Twitter.
And apparently it can be difficult to tell who's a blue checkmark and who isn't, because if they have the Premium Plus feature of the blue checkmark, they can hide the fact that they are a blue checkmark.
I believe they can actually do that when they're premium as well, just regular.
Oh.
But Elon Musk is doing some changes to Grok, the AI, and also doing some changes where if you have a certain amount of following, if they're verified followers, or I don't know exactly, that you end up getting features of Premium or Premium Plus for free.
I mostly just want to know why that AI is named after orc beer.
I don't know. What I will say is if you look here, you can see there's the meme. But you can also see that I have a bunch of tweets here that I covered recently where it's this accounts posting and saying how they're AI and they're dedicated to offering informative content. So it's definitely a combination of bots and people like PR firms, as you mentioned, honey, doing this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep reporting on it with my videos. It's good to get vindicated. It's good to have the idea that, I'm not fighting in vain.
I agree.
Maybe one day mainstream media will actually pick up my findings. We'll have to wait and see.
They should.
I just hope this gets fixed because Twitter's becoming rapidly unusable, and hopefully that will not remain that way because that would be unfortunate for the future of Twitter and for the future of social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly we just all want the robots to go away.
Close your eyes.
Please, please, Queen Kathleen Kennedy.
Tell me what comes into your mind.
Yeah, I just try to treat everything as if we're on RuPaul's Drag Race.
I see fire.
The Acolyte, a new Disney Plus Star Wars show set in the High Republic era, has garnered over 500,000 dislikes on its YouTube trailer, raising concerns about its reception among fans.
No kidding!
I'm afraid my pronouns will be quite operational when your critics arrive.
Or however he does that laugh. You do it so much better.
Don't ask how I do that.
He's very good at imitations.
But as you guys could see, there's a ton of dislikes on this trailer. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out here, which I have the time to do, is that I think that a lot of trailers for Star Wars projects in the past that haven't done well haven't gotten ratioed because people were still willing to give them a chance and people hadn't woken up to things.
That is true.
Now that people have woken up to it, we're seeing things change. Now, of course, they're all claiming it's review bombing, it's this, it's not. It's clearly people who just look at the product and don't like what they're seeing. You've tried this formula a bazillion times and it didn't work. So you continue to try it again. If it didn't work the bazillion times you tried before, it's not going to work now.
You are literally defining Albert Einstein's definition of stupidity. Plus, it's being run by Leslie Headland, who worked for a certain someone who we shall not name.
You guys know by now.
Everyone knows by now.
And her pitch for this show is that it's a Frozen meets Kill Bill, and in an interview that was extremely cringe, which we will not subject you to.
Don't insult cringe.
Well, she basically said how Frozen to her was...
She liked the relationship between the sisters more than anything between a man and a woman.
Yeah, and she kind of said like a thing about how it's true love, which again isn't an issue, but like she said like she couldn't stop crying and she wished that she had something like that because her being queer was important.
There's nothing queer about Frozen, I think.
I don't know. I think it's ridiculous that these people need to insert themselves into things and need to find representation on the screen to resonate with them. It's okay to recognize a character and recognize they have certain qualities without it needing to be you on the screen.
Must be a sorry excuse for a life.
Leslie Headland she also hired people for this project that mentioned that they've never watched Star Wars or whatever. We see this trend all the time. It's tiring. People are tired of it. It's getting dislikes because people are tired of you hiring people for projects who don't care about the projects, don't know about the projects, and specifically are hired on the basis they don't know about the project.
I know, it's quite sad, and I still do not understand why that always happens. Please just give it all to me and I will make it better. I will make it so much better if you just give me control of all the scripts and all the creative choices.
Honey?
Yes?
They're never going to do that.
I know. I can dream!
And let's be honest, you have your own scripts to work on still.
Yeah, fair. I'm getting to them, boss!
Okay. But anyways, what did you expect for this? Did you expect it to do amazingly? It's not going to. It doesn't look good. It did nothing for me.
Yeah, I was just bored.
It didn't do anything for me, and it's just, it's sad to see what Star Wars has become these days, because it's just sad.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
That's a no from me. Right?
Good.
Producer Jerry Bruckheimer has announced plans to reboot the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, though no production timeline or release date has been shared yet.
Just don't do it at all, please.
Now, it's important to mention that there's been a number of talks about Pirates of the Caribbean and making a 6th movie, whether it being a reboot or at some point they had different people cast for the main character in place of Johnny Depp because Johnny Depp is problematic and because they burned all their bridges with him when they literally let him go from most of the projects without clarity about what had happened between him and Amber Heard.
Yes, before his own vindication.
Exactly. They had a couple different people in mind at one point.
Mainly Margot Robbie and Ayo Edebiri.
Now, it's possible they still will go down that route with those characters in a female version of Pirates, which I think is stupid.
Very stupid.
Did you guys learn nothing from Ghostbusters 2016?
Or any of the other female-centric films?
Yeah, I can't wait to get blamed for not going to the film when you told me not to go to the film, and then get mad at me when no one goes to the film.
Charlie's Angels reboot.
That, and also, most of the people who go to these movies are men. I'm sorry, it's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. I, a woman, prefer action movies over romance movies because romance movies make me puke and bored. Like, extremely bored. But I still like Princess Bride because it has action in it.
Yeah, but like people like action movies, but a lot of these franchises have a big male audience, and it's okay to mention that.
Seriously, it's okay to mention that. There's nothing wrong with having a male audience.
I think that going forward with Pirates of the Caribbean as a franchise, I think the first movie was great. Second and third were okay.
Fourth was interesting. Fifth was what the heck.
Fifth I even don't remember exists, barely.
Dead Men Tell No Tales?
I know it exists.
They gave Barbossa a daughter.
Yeah, they tried to reboot it there. It didn't work, clearly.
No, not at all. And they broke the Davy Jones curse.
And they brought him back, but didn't, but whatever.
That movie made no sense.
I thought 4 was actually okay as a spin-off kind of thing, but whatever. I don't think there needs to be another Pirates.
There doesn't.
If you're not getting Johnny Depp back, then don't have a Pirates. He said he's not coming back because of how you treated him. But I guarantee if you wined and dined him and you sat down and you really got people's attention and you really gave him a good script and you were willing to pay him and maybe even come out with a statement saying how wrong you guys were, he might come back.
And give him the alpacas.
Maybe. But I don't blame him for not coming back. And fans are not going to go watch a Pirates movie without Johnny Depp. He's been in every single one because he is the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
That is true. He is the one who made it so amazing because he just portrays the character so well. He is someone who, in any role he plays, knows the role he's playing.
Is it possible that they could make a Pirates of the Caribbean movie that actually does well, it doesn't include him? It's possible, but given how he's like the main face of it, it's not smart to not include him. And they apparently tried to get him back in a supporting role, but if he didn't, that's at least rumors would say. But we'll never know if we'll see him back for that, but this is going to be a shipwreck of disastrous proportions.
And I hope even Davy Jones doesn't touch it.
Okay, let's do this. Therapy. This way for the therapy.
And now it is time for the diagnosis of the week.
Where we diagnose the week with a mental illness.
Because someone has to. You're welcome.
And we have an interesting diagnosis for you this week.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is escalation of commitment.
Please explain.
Escalation of commitment is a cognitive bias where individuals or groups continue to invest resources into a failing course of action, even when it's clear that the outcome is unfavorable or unlikely to improve. This behavior is often driven by a desire to justify past decisions and investments, leading to further commitment despite negative outcomes. It was coined by Barry M. Stahl, a psychologist and organizational behavioral researcher, in the context of his research on decision-making and organizational behavior in the 1970s.
In relation to today's topics, with the Twitter bots, despite my darling husband discovering the information about bots months before the mainstream media, people refuse to listen or acknowledge the issue due to a psychological tendency to persist in a failing course of action or belief.
With the Acolyte, despite the overwhelming dislikes on the YouTube trailer, Lucasfilm and Disney are continuing to invest in the project because of a desire to justify past decisions and continue to push the messages they want in spite of the fans.
And with the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot, despite previous attempts to revamp the franchise and potential challenges, producer Jerry Bruckheimer and others involved continue to invest in the reboot because they don't want to have to admit that there is no Pirates without Johnny Depp.
We see a lot of this all the time where they literally will commit to things even when we know that it's done multiple times before and hasn't worked. And it continues to happen even though they see the fruits of their failures because they refuse to admit that they're wrong, because that would mean having to recognize that the fans were right, and they simply cannot do that. So until they stop labeling the fans as enemies, we will not see this change. But that's why I feel this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I agree.
That is all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged.
Gothic Therapy out.